Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, we're coming back with another spicy beer. Xocoveza Tres Leches is an 8.5% Imperial Stout from Stone Brewing Company in Escondido, California. This is a bit of a follow-up review for my Odd Side Ales Mayan Mocha Stout video from a little while back. I asked in that video what was another spicy style stout that I should try, and viewer Gregory C. mentioned that he was looking forward to Xocoveza Tres Leches. And out of pure kismet, I happen to have a can already in my possession. And this is a bit of a similar style, so it's kind of intriguing. So let's take a look at the label. We'll get it into a glass, but first I'd like to thank my executive producers Brian Kramer, David Jeffries, Chad Shirk, and Cam Freeman for helping to bring this review to you today. If you'd like to become a producer, help out the channel, or maybe just throw me a couple bucks to buy me a beer, take a look at my Patreon at patreon.drafttherapy.com, where you can get early access to these videos and a few other special perks available only to patrons. Just started doing some giveaways, just finished October's and starting a new one in November. So if you're a patron, take a look, check out the Discord. All right, so let's look at this label. Across the top, it says Stone. Underneath that, it says Xocoveza Tres Leches, an Imperial Stout inspired by Mexican hot chocolate and Tres Leches. It's a brown metallic can, like almost a copper, a dark copper. It has the stone gargoyle in the background. It says Say Xocoveza, and on the other side, Muy Deliciosa, and it has a bit of a Mayan / Aztec calendar in the background. Underneath that, it says Stout brewed with chocolate, coffee, Pasilla Peppers, vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, rice, and oats. That's a lot. And then underneath that, it says 8.5% alcohol by volume. This is a 12 fluid ounce can. It also comes in bottles. If we look on the back here, it has the government warning. It's, tells you the website, age at cellar temp, about 55 degrees Fahrenheit or below, 13 degrees centigrade. To my neighbors to the north and in Europe, and it says inspired by Mexican hot chocolate and Tres Leches. Two Latin American inspired treats meet the silky smooth, luscious creation. Stone Xocoveza started out as a coffee and spice lace tribute, Oaxacan hot chocolate, and this year our brewers took it to the next level by taking the traditional confection of Tres Leches as an additional influence. Two different inspirations plus 3 leches equals a treat for all 5 senses. This 2 plus 3 is a one-time variation of our beloved holiday release, so indulge while you can. We certainly won't judge. This is new. If I didn't mention that and all that, this is a new beer from Stone. This is a deviation, a different version of their Xocoveza. And yeah, so this had a package date of October 18th, 2021. This just started hitting shelves here in Michigan recently. Might be pretty hard to find. I picked it up, like I said, a little bit ago, probably late October, probably around the 25th or so. Let's go ahead and crack this and put a nose on the can. Has a bit of a, it doesn't have a whole lot of aroma coming out of the can. Of course, that can change drastically. I'm getting almost like a cola vibe out of the can. Let's go ahead and pour it. It's coming out dark brown out of the can. I can see through it. It is not totally opaque. It is semi-transparent. It's got a brownish cola color to it on the pour. If we take a look, we got about a finger, maybe a finger and a half of head at the very most. The head is tight, compact bubbles, a little bit off-white, maybe shading a little bit towards a tan, maybe close to a khaki. Seems like it's dissipating pretty quickly. I am at under a finger at this point. Let's go ahead and hold it up to the light here. Very dark, not seeing through it. There is across the bottom of this bulb, it is like a murky brown. It is a little bit transparent, but not much. That's a thin part of the glass, a thin part where the beer would come from. Not a whole lot of color even there. I mean, not able to see through it very well even there. Let's put a nose on the glass. I am getting more of a chocolate note on the nose out of the glass, but it still has that, it's still holding on to this kind of almost cola aroma. So let's go ahead and try this one out. Cheers. We'll talk about the mouthfeel first. The mouthfeel is a little bit on the lighter side. 8.5% Imperial Stout. I would expect it to be a little bit heavier than this. It does feel a little bit on the thin side. there's not really much to talk about mouthfeel wise. I mean, it does kind of hold to the tongue a little bit, but it's pretty light. It's borderline crisp almost. So let's talk about the flavor here. So it has this bit of sweetness up front that comes through. It kind of after that first initial sweetness, there is this bit of getting a lot of spices, getting a lot of cinnamon, getting a little bit almost of a nutmeg in there as well. There is a chocolate that comes through that's there throughout the entire kind of flavor from the start to the finish. I also feel like on the finish, along with that cinnamon, those spices, that nutmeg, I'm getting this little bit of a coffee kind of flavor. That's actually more on the tail end. There's a little bit more of this coffee kind of flavor. There is this slight tinge of spiciness, not quite as spicy as I was expecting, and I would almost, me being someone who generally shies away from spicy beer, spicy stouts, I would almost like to see a little bit more heat come through. There's not really much that's coming through. There is this little bit of this little capsaicin kind of bite to it at the very finish with that coffee. So it does come through there, but it's not quite as, I don't know, bold or not quite as upfront as I was expecting. I was expecting Xocoveza to be a little bit, or Xocoveza Tres Leches, pardon me, to be a little bit more of this kind of spicy kick to it, but it's there, but it's on the very tail end, on the finish with that coffee, with that chocolate. It is pleasing, but I would have liked to have seen it be a little bit more bolder. I think the sweetness on the upfront and at the swallow, at the peak of the swallow, is also where you're getting that. There's a lot of vanilla that comes through there. Then it kicks into those spices, like I said, that cinnamon, that nutmeg. On the finish, that's where you're getting that chocolate. You're getting that little bit of a heat. You're getting that coffee as well. It comes through very smooth in an entire drink. You know, a slower drink, you can start to kind of pick it apart and you know, find all these things. In a quick drink, it's really lays it out in the order that I mentioned. You kind of miss the vanilla if you do take a quick drink, but it's basically vanilla, and then it goes into maybe a little bit of a caramel, kind of morphs into this caramel, has that chocolate, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, comes through with a little bit of that heat, the coffee on the finish. Let's see, what else does it say on here? Yeah, you definitely get cinnamon and nutmeg. Yeah, I haven't had the regular Xocoveza, so I can't really say for sure how this stacks up against Xocoveza. That's one that I've wanted to try for a while. Like I said, it has that little bit of a heat to it. I wish it had a little bit more. The mouthfeel maybe being a little bit thicker would be nicer, but that's really just kind of nitpicking. You know, there's not really much that I can say that's bad about this beer, but like I said, I expected, just from the description, from maybe what I've built up, the hype that I've built up for it. Maybe hype's even the wrong word for it, because I didn't really have a whole lot of hype personally behind this. But I would have liked to have seen, again, coming from someone that's a totally avoids spicy beer, spicy stout, spicy anything, you know, spicy beer. I love spicy food, but I avoid spicy beer. Coming from someone that isn't really big into spicy beer, take it for what it's worth, liking spicy food, I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more of a kick of spice. But what's here is nice. 8.5%. It doesn't really taste like 8.5%. It's not super boozy. I don't really even have any kind of feeling that there is a higher ABV. I was going to say a lot of booze to this, but I don't feel like it's very boozy. I think, you know, a few of these would probably catch up to you. It can be very dangerous in that respect. But I would have liked to have seen a little bit more heat, but everything else that's there is really good. And I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit thicker mouthfeel. But as it stands, if you are a Xocoveza fan, I think you'd probably like this. I haven't tried Xocoveza on its own, but I think this is a nice kind of sweeter change from what I would expect from Xocoveza. All right, friends, that has been Xocoveza Tres Leches from Stone. Have you had this? Do you have any other spicy stout recommendations? And thanks to Gregory C. for recommending this one. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any recommendations. And while you're down there, if you like beer, you might want to subscribe and click that bell. I'm here talking about beer twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's all for free for viewers just like you. and you might miss your newest favorite if you're not subscribing to those notifications. If you're not subscribing to those notifications, how would you know? You might pick up a clunker and you wouldn't even know until you tried it and spent your hard-earned money for it. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by. Remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries. These guys are in Escondido, California. And most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.